Good morning. I'm Emily from Chasing Simple, and I want to take you along with me today on just a simple day of doing some summer homemaking. So, join me in my kitchen to start out. So, I am actually beginning this little cook-a-thon before my son has woken up for the day. So, I've already had breakfast and I am starting with a iced coffee to sip on while I prep this food. But this is a tactic that I use to get food on my table throughout the week, and that is just that I spend less than 75 minutes per week in the kitchen doing my meal prep, and I cook 2 dinners, and then I also make a lunch salad for myself and any snacks for myself. And that way I just have food kind of ready to go in the fridge all week, and I can feel confident that I'm eating healthy food. And I've made it very convenient for myself to do that. And I do still prefer to cook without my son nearby just because I enjoy it being kind of distraction free and quick. And that's not always the case. But this morning he's sleeping late, so I'm taking advantage of the time and just getting some vegetables chopped up to put on the grill. I love this grill basket, it's just super handy. And I am also making a Cobb salad. And I think probably the Cobb salad is missing a few ingredients that maybe you would think of as being in a Cobb salad, but I don't eat a whole lot of dairy. Really, the only dairy that I tolerate is plain yogurt. So it doesn't have like cheese or anything like that in it, but it's really delicious. And then I'm also prepping the salad that I eat for lunch, which has red cabbage in it. So just getting that shredded up. And yeah, I just do all the chopping and prepping and everything all at one time. And I also cook all the meats and all of that. And so that way I have food just kind of ready to go in my fridge, and it's the most convenient thing in the world. And so I love it, and I love how much time it saves me throughout the week of not having to clean up the kitchen a bunch of times throughout the week, clean up all of this equipment. And I just love the time that it affords me in the evenings to be able to cook this way. And so yeah, I'd encourage you to try it if it's something that you think might work for you. But I am just having some cherry tomatoes to put on the Cobb salad. And I love this container. I think it's like a vintage Tupperware container. I see it all the time at antique stores though, so I'm sure you could find one. And I love it for things that have toppings that would be nice to be able to add kind of for a build your own sort of thing, like for tacos or for salads or whatever. I just think it's a great container. It has 3 spots. And so, you can put, like I'm putting the shredded carrots and some green onions and the tomatoes in there. And, depending on what you needed space for, you could even put the dressing in there. But I am, speaking of dressing, making the dressing for my lunch salad by juicing a couple of lemons, adding some plain yogurt. I'm adding tahini, a little bit of water, garlic, and salt and pepper, and then just blending that up with my immersion blender. And it makes for a very delicious, flavorful dressing that I enjoy every week on my salad. So in addition to that, I am also going to make a ranch dressing later on for the Cobb salad, and you'll see that here in just a minute. And there you have it. It is a very easy dressing, super delicious, creamy, and it really doesn't have any oil in it. So it's also a high protein dressing. I am going to go ahead and get the grill started outside. And I always love to kind of putter around outside when the grill's going if I have the flexibility to do that. And so it's just kind of a fun way to cook. I think it adds so much flavor too. And is just reasonably healthy as well. So I am grilling up some chicken and then also the vegetables that I prepared. I love grilled vegetables. I think, again, they have such good flavor. Well, as I mentioned before, I am going to clip some herbs for a homemade ranch dressing. And as you can see, my garden herb bed is getting very vibrant out here. So I'm just clipping some dill and parsley and chives, and I'll use all of those to make a quick ranch in kind of a similar style to the previous dressing that I made with some plain yogurt. And it just makes for a delicious kind of green dressing that has a lot of the flavors of ranch without being quite so heavy as a typical ranch would be. So it'll be delicious drizzled over our Cobb salads. And how fun to use things that I've grown myself. I am just loving having these herbs to clip, and it's super fun to just have them right by my kitchen window too. So my grill is hot, so I'm going to go ahead and stick my grill basket on here. I don't have any oil or anything like that on it. You just don't really need it. The grill adds flavor, and the basket keeps it from sticking and becoming a total disaster. I did season the chicken breasts up with like garlic powder and onion powder, salt and pepper, and maybe some paprika. Don't totally remember. But this will work for both just grilled chicken to eat and then also some grilled chicken for the Cobb salads. I'll give you a little garden tour while we're out here. As you can see, our lawn is kind of half mowed. My husband ran out of battery yesterday, so just excuse that. But as you can see, the grass is definitely greening up and it's starting to look really pretty. I've gotten like a super unusual amount of rain recently, and so it's been kind of fun to see like how lush things are right now. My pots are turning out really nice, I think. I mean, they're not as beautiful as if I had done all things from a garden center, but I'm enjoying like that I grew these little tiny daisies from seed and these grasses from seed and this coleus from seed. Like, I'm just so amazed at what can be accomplished in nature, and this gomphrena from seed. It's just been super fun to kind of see what's happened from just a couple of seeds. Okay, now this may not look like much, but I planted this entire thing up over Memorial Day weekend with pumpkins, and my son and I just kind of got a wild hair to do a big pumpkin patch for him, and I'm super excited. We planted 4 different kinds, so that's going to be so fun to kind of see that all come together. And as you can see, they are just a twinkle in my eye right now, but I'm excited to see what they'll become. In this bed, I have raspberries and peppers, and I also have nasturtium. And I just can't believe how quickly the nasturtium have come up. It's been so exciting because last year I don't think I had nasturtium until like July. These are so fun because they are like purple and pink and really pretty color palette rather than like the orange and red. And they'll flop over my garden beds once they start growing up a little bit more. And this bed has more nasturtiums, some marigold that's grown from seed. In the back, those are sunflowers. And then I have some sugar pumpkins and a zucchini. Oh, and a little cucumber. That one I started from seeds, so and just direct sowed, so it's pretty little right now. But yeah, really excited about this bed. And in the perimeter, I planted up yarrow and delphinium and snapdragons and zinnias, so I'm hoping that I get some nice cut flowers out of those. This thing is like the pride of my life. It is a little broccoli plant that, I mean, it's really actually gotten to be quite big, so very endlessly proud of that. My sweet peas, which are a flower, are looking great back here and really starting to climb. My red cabbage hasn't started forming heads yet, but is certainly big. And more nasturtiums, which will hopefully kind of shade my carrots, which is what those little fronds of green are there once they get a little bigger. This is a nice example of some of the yarrow and snapdragons and everything growing up nicely. I have a huge problem with grass kind of getting in every spot in my garden, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep fighting that. This is spinach, which I think that means it's gone to seed, so I probably need to trim that back. And then peas like that you eat. My kale is doing nicely, and more nasturtium. I have 2 eggplants right there, and then I have a tomato plant that is looking tall for sure. It's getting a couple little tomatoes on it, and I have some little tomato flowers, so hopefully that means good news for the future. And that one is from a nursery because I wanted to have some tomatoes that would grow sooner. And then this one is one I started from seed, and so that one will come a little bit later, which seems good to me, just to kind of divide up harvest of it. This is a little cantaloupe. And then my beans, I think, are doing awesome. I didn't grow beans last year, so I don't know if that's the size they're supposed to be. And then I'm starting to get some lettuce. I think I probably should have started my lettuce earlier, but I'll still enjoy it probably for all of June. And then this is super exciting. I have a strawberry that is really it's like a full-sized strawberry. So yeah, I'm so impressed by my strawberry plants this year. They are just doing awesome, and I feel like we're really gonna have a fun strawberry harvest. Okay, it's time to give my veggies a little stir and flip the chicken over, and the veggies, even though it feels like you're churning them all into the basket, they like to be some size or resistance and everything, and so don't lose heart. They'll be fine, and things will cook, reasonably evenly. These pots are doing really well. Also, these are a few things that I picked up from the garden center, along with gomfrina that I grew from seed, and I have a lot of verbena in here, and my little adorable daisies. Those are so cute. And so this one's definitely filling out. I'm excited to see when it really blooms. Herbs have absolutely gone insane, and I'm so endlessly proud of them. I'm hoping that my basil will really fill in, but it's at least twice the size that it was before, so I'm proud of it. In the front of my house, I did the bubblegum super petunias, and they are very vigorous. I did set up all of my raised beds on an irrigation system, and I am just really loving how that does a great job. It is manual, like I have to turn it on. It's not on a drip system, but it's just attached to a hose. I'm really loving it, and I think it waters really evenly. Okay, and the food is ready to come off of the grill, so I'm going to go ahead and put that into a clean 9x13 pan, and I will use that to store this chicken during the week in my fridge as well. I have several 9x13 pans with lids. So this grill basket is awesome. It has like a bottom portion, which you can actually use for marinating, but it's great to just set the whole grill basket in, stick the lid on, and then you can store right in the same container you cook in, which I'm a huge fan of. I forgot to film this, but I did chop up a bunch of romaine, which I'll use for my lunch salads and also for our Cobb salads. And now I am just taking the dill fronds kind of off of the giant dill stem, and then chopping up some parsley and some chives. Just going to give these a rough chop because ultimately they'll go into a mason jar with an immersion blender, so it's not like it really matters how chopped they are, but it does help to just give them a quick rough chop. I'm adding some plain Greek yogurt and then a little bit of water, some salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder and garlic powder to this, and I'll just pour this into an immersion blender, and we'll call that ranch. So then I'm kind of making like the Cobb salad kit. I have some of the lettuce going into one of these 9x13 pans, and then I've stuck a smaller glass dish in there, and I put about 4 servings of chopped up grilled chicken in there so that it's separate from the other chicken that we'll just serve with the grilled veggies, which I left as full breasts. But this works really nicely because it just minimizes the number of things that I need to remember to pull out of the fridge, and just helps it to be super easy to pull the food out and then add the little container of toppings to it. And I am just cutting up a little bit of bacon, which I will add to the container with the 3 compartments so that, again, I can just kind of take everything out really easily. I will add a chopped hard-boiled egg to each of the salads as well, which I'm not pre-chopping just because it's nice to kind of know how much egg you're putting on each salad. Okay, so this is how my week of meals looks in my fridge. I've got Cobb salad, lettuce, and chicken here. And then I have all the toppings right there. The dressing is in the back. And I will be serving that with some hard-boiled eggs and then also some cut up fruit. This was just on a good deal, so instead of cutting it up myself, I did buy it already pre-cut. And I keep a couple of things that my son enjoys here, pepper strips, some pizza, and apple. He can reach them here, and so he likes to be able to get his own stuff. And then my lunch stuff is all here. I've got my kind of salad kit. This is just leftover purple cabbage, which will last for about a month in my fridge. And then I've got my 2 bags of spinach and my oatmeal already cooked in this little Tupperware. And then at the bottom here is the grilled chicken, which I'll serve with the grilled veggies, which are in the black container, which just the grill basket fits right in there. So that's an awesome thing. I will link that down below. And super easy. So I love this meal prep method, and I hope that it's been helpful for you to see how it works. Well, thanks for joining me. My son and I are gonna run some errands and hit the park this afternoon. So I'm gonna be off to do that, and I feel really freed up to do that knowing that when we get home I can throw dinner together really quickly. So if you want more meal resources, there is a link down below for my summer meal strategy, and you can watch this video next about my summer meal strategy.